John Jones doesn't want to take the risk at the moment, so I actually have a meeting tonight about it, so we're going to find out what happens tonight, believe it or not. We either need to fight or I need to move on and do something else. And like I said, I'm going to find out. Literally, today is the day that I've been waiting for 3-4 months for, and I'm going to find out today what's going on. So tonight will probably be Hunter. I'm not sure if Dana's going to be there or not, but Hunter is the guy who does the deals, and we just go in a room, chat. It used to be done over the phone and stuff, but with the bigger fights, it's usually, when you're talking about world title fights, usually done face-to-face. I think to get out the way of me for 25 minutes at this point in his career without getting hit once, and that's all I need is just one, I think that's going to be very difficult for anybody, I think.
Tom Aspinall has just revealed that a meeting is set to take place between him and John Jones to begin working on making their fight a reality. However, Tom Aspinall said there's not much he can do to make the fight happen, as it mostly depends on money from John Jones's side. He's willing to fight anytime, but believes Jones wants high pay due to his age, past injuries, and the risk of facing a dangerous opponent like Aspinall.
Me personally, I can't do anything. I think it's just down to money, I think, on his side. So I will fight whenever, wherever he wants, but it's down to money, I think.
When you say he's afraid to take the risk, what do you mean by that?
I just think that at this stage in his career, he's had an amazing career. I just think that he's like 37, 38 years old, but not only that, he's got a million miles on the clock. So he's got a lot of damage on the body. He's took a lot of shots to the head. And that's not me saying anything negative about it. That's the reality of it. And I'm sure John Jones is aware of that. When you put him in with, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I'm literally the most dangerous guy in the UFC if you look at the stats. When you put him in with a guy of my size who has them credentials at this stage in his career, I think John's a smart guy and he realises that, so he wants compensating financially for it.
Tom Aspinall said he's never spoken to John Jones directly, as everything goes through UFC officials. He explained that Dana White, the public face of the UFC, was present at their last meeting, which was a first for him. Usually, negotiations are handled by Hunter Campbell, a key UFC executive who works behind the scenes and deals directly with fighters. Tom mentioned that Hunter would likely be leading the upcoming meeting as well. He noted that while smaller talks used to happen over the phone, major title fights are now discussed face-to-face. They had a meeting in New York a few months ago, and now another one is set to happen in London.
No, I never speak to him personally. It's done, so you got Dana White, who is, everybody knows Dana White, he's the face of the UFC. The last meeting I had, Dana was actually there, which is the first for me. Usually it's done with another guy called Hunter. Hunter like stays in the shadows a little bit. Like, he's the guy who all the fighters speak to directly. So tonight will probably be Hunter. I'm not sure if Dana's going to be there or not, but Hunter is the guy who does the deals. And we just go in a room, chat. It used to be done over the phone and stuff, but with the bigger fights, it's usually, when you're talking about world title fights, it's usually done face-to-face. So we had a meeting in New York about it a few months ago, and now we're here in London about to have a meet.
However, former UFC star Chael Sonnen confidently claimed that the fight between John Jones and Tom Aspinall is definitely going to happen, and it's happening next. He stressed that Jones would return only for a matchup with Aspinall, though he admitted there's always a chance Aspinall could fight someone else if needed. Sonnen also dismissed any talk of Jones delaying or avoiding the fight, calling those rumors untrue. In his view, the only thing that matters is when Dana White makes the call, because when that happens, Jones says yes.
This fight is going to happen. In fact, this fight is going to happen next. You will not see John Jones fight and it not be Tom Aspinall. I can give you that as an assurance. I can't do it the other way. I cannot tell you that there's no scenario where Tom Aspinall fights and it would be against anyone but John Jones. I can't do that. I'm very close. I can go further. You will see John Jones fight Tom Aspinall. All the reports that you've heard that John is holding this fight up, they're not true. John has gone to the media and he's had his fun. The litmus test is when that phone rings and it's Dana White, what is said in that moment. That's the only way you go into the category of delaying and or ducking. That did not happen. That is a false report.
Moreover, Tom Aspinall admitted he's not really sure what to expect from the upcoming meeting, as it's a new experience for him. He said the UFC told him they would go over the full plan that night, which surprised him because in his career, both in and outside the UFC, he's never been given a detailed plan before. Usually, he just gets a fight date and location, and he shows up ready. He found it unusual and said he's genuinely curious about what there even is to plan, since it's just 2 fighters and he's already ready to go.
This is what I don't understand, to be honest, because they actually said to me that we're going to discuss the plan tonight and they're going to give me the full breakdown. And for me personally, I've now had 10 UFC fights. And I've had however many other fights in my career as well outside the UFC. I've never been given a plan before. It's just like, this is the date, let me know the location, when, and I'll show up. So this is really rare for me. I don't know what to expect. I'm really interested actually to see like, what is there to plan? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's 2 guys, I'm one of them, I'm in. What's the plan? So I'm interested, I don't know.
Tom Aspinall praised Jon Jones as one of the greatest MMA fighters ever, saying that while no one can be a truly complete UFC fighter, Jones has come as close to perfection as possible over the last 15 years. However, Tom pointed out that Jones has taken a lot of damage in his career and is now facing one of the most powerful punchers in UFC history himself. He believes it will be very difficult for Jones to avoid getting hit for 25 minutes. And since Tom only needs 1 clean shot, he feels confident he can exploit that.
I think Jon is amazing at MMA. I think he's literally you can never be a complete UFC fighter. It's impossible. That's one of the things that draws me to the sport so much, is why I'm so obsessed about it. It's because you're constantly chasing perfection, but you're never going to get it. No one's ever going to be a perfect, complete fighter. But Jon, in my opinion, if you look at his body of work over the last 15 years, he's like as close as you can get to perfection as possible. That being said, he's got a lot of miles on the clock and he's fighting one of the most concussive punchers in UFC history. And I just think I can exploit it. Like, I think to get out the way of me for 25 minutes at this point in his career without getting hit once, and that's all I need is just one, I think that's going to be very difficult for anybody.
At the same time, Tom acknowledged Jones's clear advantage in experience. He said Jones has been in many high-pressure, high-stakes fights, while he himself has only had a few of those moments in the UFC so far. Tom understands that this kind of experience matters and gives Jones an edge, especially when it comes to composure and decision-making in the cage.
What do you think he can do to you? He's
got a lot more experience than I do. He knows how to stay in there. He's fought guys similar to me before. He's had these plenty like massive fight experience where I've only main evented the UFC like 4 or 5 times now. He's done that for the last 15 years. Do you know what I mean? So that stuff, from the outside looking in, you probably think, oh, that's a load of rubbish. Like, what's it? Just a fight. But being in those situations, those high pressure situations and those massive fights, if you've been there a lot of times before,
yeah.
In comparison to someone like me who's been there 4 or 5 times before, it does make a big difference. And I'm aware of that. I'm completely aware of it. But that's where he has the advantage, is the experience.
Moreover, UFC welterweight champion Belal Muhammad believes Tom Aspinall could be Jon Jones' toughest test yet, pointing to Aspinall's power and speed as prime examples of the new generation of heavyweights. While Muhammad thinks Jones might still come out on top, he feels the fight is only worth it if the financial reward is big enough. He predicts Dana White will push for the matchup because of its massive earning potential, but speculates that Jones, having already secured his legacy, might lean toward facing Alex Pereira instead unless the payout hits somewhere between $30 to $50 million.
If I'm Jon Jones, like, a lot of people consider him to go the best fighter ever do it. The next hungry lion is Aspinall. It's probably the toughest fight that he'll have. Like, this guy's the next generation. He's a lot stronger, a lot faster. But I think Jon Jones is good enough to beat him. But it's like, it has to be worth it. The fans are fickle, right? You lose one fight, they're gonna, he sucks. Right? They just care about your last win or your last loss. I think Dana White and them will end up making it. Dana White's a smart businessman. He knows how much money that fight would make. If I'm Jon Jones, you've already done everything in the sport. It's not worth it unless it's that $30 million, $50 million payday. If I'm Jon Jones, I'm picking out Pereira first over Aspinall.
However, Tom Aspinall lastly said he's doing everything he can to get a fight with Jon Jones, but so far hasn't been successful. He admitted he's trying to provoke the matchup, but it hasn't worked yet. Aspinall explained that unlike boxing, where there can be multiple champions in each weight class, the UFC usually has only one, and that's how it should be. However, in his division, there are currently 2 champions, which he finds strange. He believes Jon Jones doesn't want to take the risk right now, but added that he has a meeting scheduled that night to hopefully get some clarity on the situation.
Well, I'm trying. I'm trying to. I can't do anything else. I'm trying to pick a fight with him as much as I can, but at the minute I'm unsuccessful. So, yeah, that's what I want. I want to be called. See, we have a thing in MMA where it's different to boxing in terms of there's one champion at heavyweight, one guy, heavyweight division. Whereas boxing, you have different like organisation stuff. There can be like 4, 5, even 6 sometimes. World champions at heavyweight. In the UFC, we have one. But in my division, we have 2, which is weird. I don't like it. John Jones doesn't want to take the risk at the moment. So I actually have a meeting tonight about it. So we're going to find out what happens tonight, believe it or not.
Moreover, Joe Rogan raised doubts about John Jones being able to dominate someone like Tom Aspinall, who is a true heavyweight with exceptional speed and mobility. Rogan praised Aspinall as a rare athletic talent, saying he's quicker than any other heavyweight he's seen. He warned that Aspinall's unique mix of size, quickness, and technical ability could be a real threat, even for a fighter as decorated as John Jones.
Can he do that with a guy like Aspinall, who's a legit 255-pound natural who moves like he's 80 pounds lighter? He's a freak, man.
Yeah.
Aspinall's a freak. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem.
Daniel Cormier finds the situation between Tom Aspinall and John Jones unusual and hard to fully understand. He said that if he were in Aspinall's shoes and had the chance to fight Jones, he'd expect a major payday and would push for serious compensation. Cormier believes Jones doesn't fear Aspinall and likely sees him as just another opponent he can beat. However, he also thinks Jones knows the fight comes with real risks. Cormier pointed out that when the betting odds first came out, Jones was actually the underdog, something rare in his career, as he's almost always been the favorite.
If I was John
Cormier also noted that John Jones has been hinting at retirement, suggesting this could be one of the last big fights of his career. He doesn't believe Jones will continue fighting just for the money if his performance starts to decline. On the topic of timing, Cormier thinks the UFC probably already has plans in motion or is close to finalizing something. He added that Jones should take the fight sooner rather than later, since with each passing month he gets older while Tom Aspinall keeps getting better. Eddie Hall believes that if John Jones and Tom Aspinall were to fight, Aspinall would win. While he respects Jones's accomplishments and record, Hall feels that Jones is purposely avoiding a matchup with Aspinall. He pointed out that Jones has talked about retiring after his next bout, which to him signals a lack of interest in facing Aspinall. In Hall's view, actions speak louder than words, and he sees Jones as ducking the challenge.
John Jones or Tom Aspinall. So if you don't know MMA world, sorry to bore you, but Tom Aspinall is the UFC's #1 right now. John Jones is, he's seen as the best MMA fighter on the planet. Dana White's got a massive for him, says he's unbeatable. Honestly, I think if you put John Jones and Tom Aspinall in a room and said one man leaves, I think Tom Aspinall leaves that room. I genuinely do. I think, and I think John Jones, I mean, I can't badmouth the guy. He's got an amazing record, but he's definitely ducking Tom Aspinall, 100%. And I think he's even said he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall after his next fight. He's pretty much going to retire after this fight, so he's ducking Tom Aspinall. I mean, he can say what he wants, but actions speak louder than words.
Demetrius Johnson praised Tom Aspinall's skill, but believes John Jones would defeat him without too much difficulty. He said he'd prefer to see Jones face Aspinall over Alex Pereira, as he thinks Jones would have a clear edge in that matchup. Johnson also pointed out that Aspinall reportedly asking for $30 million might be one of the reasons the fight hasn't been made yet.
John Jones will smoke Tom Aspinall.
I don't know, man.
Man, he'll smoke Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall is athletic. I think Tom Aspinall would try to take the fight to John Jones. And it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'd rather see that fight over Alex Pereira.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I agree. I would like to see that fight over Alex, but come on, man. Aspinall is a great fighter.
Yep.
He's a good champion.
Aspinall.
That's what I said. John Jones will smoke Aspinall.
Yeah.
Smoke him.
I can't wait to see. I hope it happens. That's the fight that needs to happen. I think Tom Aspinall versus John Jones needs to happen.
Why do you think there's so much friction there? Why do you think it's not happening? Why? Because we see so much.
I think John
on the
Jones said
internet.
he wants $30 million.
Curtis Blades gave Tom Aspinall a slight 55% edge over Jon Jones, but acknowledged that beating Jones would be far from easy. Blaydes highlighted Jones's extensive skill set and championship experience, stressing that these qualities make him a constant threat, ensuring that any fight with him would present a major challenge for Aspinall.
Do you think Aspinall beats him?
Yeah, I would pick him. Like, I would go 55% him. Obviously, it's not gonna be a landslide. Like, we're going against Jon Jones. He's a legend. He's got all the weapons.
Israel Adesanya noted that Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall are similar in size, with Aspinall slightly taller and more solid. He admitted that Aspinall's speed could be a serious threat, but pointed to Jones's grappling as a key advantage. Adesanya said no one can know for sure who would win until the fight actually happens. He described the matchup as exciting, unpredictable, and one that fans genuinely deserve to see.
But he's the same height as me, if not an inch taller, but thick.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're a lot thicker than I would expect. Yeah. And the speed, that's the thing that I'm like, okay, that's the danger. But again, grappling, he's a black belt, but Jon is
that's different.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. They gotta fight. But if they don't ever fight, we'll never know.
Paddy Pimblett said he's a big fan of Tom Aspinall and thinks he's one of the coolest guys in MMA. However, despite Jon Jones getting older, Paddy still can't pick against him. He believes Jones has the best fight IQ in the sport, maybe even in MMA history. According to Paddy, Jones always shows up with the perfect game plan to beat whoever he's facing. As much as he'd love to see Tom win, he just can't bring himself to bet against Jon Jones.
Do you think the Aspinall-Jones fights happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against Jon Jones. The one thing I do think Jon Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against Jon Jones. It's just something I couldn't do.
Dricus du Plessis acknowledged Tom Aspinall's youth and determination, but also noted that Jon Jones is nearing the end of his career. He expressed his hope that Jones retires undefeated and that Aspinall rises as the next big star in MMA. However, du Plessis also recognized Jones's warrior mentality and his knack for making tough fights look easy, further solidifying his legacy as the greatest of all time.
Aspinall is young, he's hungry. You have Jones, who is definitely at the end of his career. What's he, 38 years old? I don't need to see this because he's never been beaten. I want Jon Jones to retire unbeaten, and I want him to retire, and Aspinall goes on to be the next big thing. But Jon Jones, being the warrior that is, he says, pay me enough and I'm doing it. Aspinall wants it, and one of them has to lose that fight. And that's the one thing, you look at it and you go, Aspinall's probably going to win. But then, if you ask me that, I say, no. We've said that so many times with Jon Jones, and it makes it look easy. He is the greatest of all time, for sure.
Kamaru Usman believes Tom Aspinall is the most dangerous heavyweight and the biggest threat to Jon Jones's dominance. However, he advised Jones to secure his financial situation before taking on such a risky fight. Usman stressed the importance of being smart and calculating before stepping into the octagon.
I do think Tom Aspinall is the most dangerous heavyweight right now. 100% the biggest threat to pry that belt away from Jon Jones. But Jon has got to get that back.
Francis Ngannou pointed out that Tom Aspinall needs the fight to prove himself, while Jon Jones stands to gain mostly financially. He also mentioned that Aspinall's wrestling and ground game would make him a much tougher challenge than Alex Pereira.
He keeps saying he doesn't want Aspinall.
Aspinall need that fight. I don't need it. When you look at it, pretty much true. There's nothing that he's going to make winning that fight if it's not money. But for Aspinall, that will be everything.
Would you rather see him face Aspinall or would you rather see him face Pereira?
Aspinall will be a more challenging fight because Aspinall respond to a ground game better than Pereira. Aspinall will respond better in wrestling than Pereira. He can do whatever he wants.
Frank Mir acknowledged Tom Aspinall as a serious threat to Jon Jones, but still gave the edge to Jones because of his dominant wrestling. He believed Jones could control Aspinall on the ground and use effective ground ground and pound to shut down his jiu-jitsu. Mir also noted that a win over Aspinall wouldn't change much for Jones's legacy, since he's already widely regarded as one of the greatest fighters of all time.
I think Tom might have the best chance of anybody to beat John right now. But that being said, I still think John wins the fight just because of his wrestling. I think he puts, Tom on his back and is able to nullify his jiu-jitsu from being top position with his elbows and control. What does John win to take that fight? He goes out there and beats Tom. Is it really going to make or break his career? I don't think anybody gives a shit.
Sean O'Malley recognized John Jones as one of the greatest fighters ever, but cautioned that a loss to Tom Aspinall might lead people to say Jones is past his prime, which could hurt his legacy.
Tom Aspinall? God damn. It's like you risk going down as no matter what, you don't have to fight again. Greatest of all time, people will say that. You're the greatest of all time, greatest of all time, John Jones. Or you risk it, go fight Tom Aspinall, possibly lose, and then it's like, he was the greatest. Then they're saying, yeah, but he wasn't in his prime.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.